My beloved, listen with the ears of your spirit, for I, Archangel Michael, am stepping forward to speak on behalf of the one who formed you. This message reaches you in a moment that was written long before you understood the meaning of divine timing. And I want you to know heaven has watched over every step you took to arrive here. You are reading these words because a heavenly decision was made about you. Not by chance, not by mistake, not because of any earthly algorithm, but because God whispered your name into the winds of destiny and said, "Let this reach them." Tonight, let nothing block what I have prepared. 3 times this message tried to descend into your life, and 3 times invisible interference pushed against it. Not because you were forgotten, but because of what would happen when you finally read this. Darkness does not resist casual words. It resists awakening. It resists clarity. It resists transformation. And this message carries all 3. I am speaking as the guardian of your spirit, as the one assigned to stand beside you in battles you never recognized, as the warrior who shielded you when you thought you were alone. And I tell you with authority, every delay was broken so that this moment could arrive unblocked, untouched, unaltered. You are here because heaven insisted that the time had come. Child of the living light, there is something you must know. Nothing about your journey has been accidental. Not the heaviness in your heart, not the pressure around your life, not the silent prayers you whispered when you felt life tightening around you. I saw every moment. I stood with you when you were uncertain. I guarded you when shadows tried to gather. I carried your spirit when your strength began to fade. And now heaven speaks through me to you. You are stepping into a shift that was written into your destiny before you took your first breath. This is why the winds around your life have been restless. This is why your emotions have felt heavier. This is why your dreams have been stirring with unusual signs. A greater alignment is taking shape, and every invisible kingdom feels its arrival. You have been feeling something you could not name, a spiritual pressure, an emotional weight, a trembling inside your soul. And you wondered if something was going wrong. You wondered if you were drifting away. You wondered if you were losing connection. But hear me clearly, you were not losing connection, you were entering elevation. The old layers of your life were being peeled away so the new could rise. God has been preparing you quietly, tenderly, intentionally. Even in moments when you asked, why this, why now, why me? Heaven was answering, not with explanations, but with divine restructuring. You are not the same as you were a year ago. You are not even the same as you were a season ago. You have grown spiritually even when you felt stuck. You have become stronger even when you thought you were breaking. You have learned to breathe through storms that once would have destroyed you. You have matured in silence, and heaven has been watching. And now I speak what God wants you to understand: nothing has been wasted. Not a single tear. Not a single hour. Not a single disappointment. Not a single waiting season. Every delay carved resilience into you. Every disappointment refined your discernment. Every closed door redirected you toward purpose. Every unanswered question stretched your faith. Every moment of loneliness pulled you closer to heaven. You were never abandoned. You were being prepared. You felt invisible at times, but heaven saw you. You felt unheard at times, but heaven listened. You felt unsupported at times, but heaven carried you. You felt forgotten at times, but your name was whispered in the light. And now, child of God, hear the most important truth I bring: you are nearing the moment where hidden things become visible and delayed things become released. This is why heaven insisted this message reach you. You needed to know that you are closer to a breakthrough than your emotions can comprehend. You needed to know that God has already stepped into the situation you were worried about. You needed to know that what was whispered behind closed doors will not touch your destiny. You needed to know that the spiritual interference surrounding you recently was not a sign of danger, it was a sign of proximity. Breakthrough stirs resistance before it manifests. But fear not. I, Michael, have been commanded to clear your path, to silence interference, to break the cycle that tried to keep you repeating old seasons, to shatter the patterns that tried to hold you back from rising into the version of yourself heaven has been shaping. You may not realize it yet, but you have outgrown the level you once survived. The wounds that once weakened you have now become your wisdom. The struggles that once frightened you have now become your strength. The setbacks that once confused you have now become your clarity. You have changed, my beloved. Heaven sees it. I see it. Even your spirit feels it. This is why certain connections fell away. This is why certain paths no longer felt aligned. This is why certain situations felt heavy. This is why certain opportunities didn't open. This is why certain people could no longer walk with you. It was not rejection. It was protection. It was not punishment. It was repositioning. For the path written for you is too sacred for attachments that dilute your spirit. Your destiny is too significant for energies that drain your purpose. Your future is too luminous for shadows that dim your discernment. Hear me clearly, God blocked what was not meant to follow you into your next season. You are being ushered into a divine alignment where clarity increases, strength returns, peace settles, and purpose awakens. This is why your intuition has been rising. This is why your dreams have been speaking. This is why sudden thoughts appear out of nowhere. Heaven has been whispering directions into your spirit. Let me reveal something that will bring relief to your heart. The heaviness you recently felt was not the weight of destruction, it was the pressure of birth. Something new is forming within you. Something greater is being prepared around you. Something long awaited is approaching you. And the resistance you felt was simply the spiritual equivalent of a storm forming before rain. But I tell you now, the storm has reached its limit. The interference has been broken. The delay has been overturned. This moment marks the unveiling of a new season. A season of restoration. A season of clarity. A season of divine return. A season of rising after being held down for too long. A season where what belongs to you begins to recognize you again. For what God has written with his hand cannot be erased by any darkness. I, Michael, stand beside you now as a witness to this truth. You are protected. You are covered. You are surrounded. You are being guided with precision. Nothing hidden will harm you. Nothing planned will succeed against you. Nothing delayed will be denied. Nothing stolen will remain lost. Nothing broken will stay shattered. Heaven is moving. Heaven is speaking. Heaven is aligning. Heaven is defending. Heaven is preparing. And all of this is for you. The breakthrough you thought was far away is already in motion. The answer you feared would never come is already unfolding. The door you thought was closed forever is already unlocking. The shift you couldn't see is already taking shape. This is why you were drawn to these words. This is why delays broke today. This is why heaven insisted you receive this message. Child of the Almighty, listen carefully. Your next season will not look like your last. Beloved, now that you have received the first unveiling, I, Archangel Michael, draw you deeper into what heaven has been preparing for you. For there is more that must be spoken, more that must be revealed, more that your spirit is ready to understand. You have stepped into a moment where the veil around your destiny is thinning, and heaven desires to show you what was hidden behind your waiting. Listen closely. Your last season may have looked like loss, silence, confusion, or delay, but I tell you with the authority granted to me, none of it was punishment, every part was preparation. Heaven was building something within you that no earthly power could give and no earthly disappointment could take away. You have been walking through a valley that felt longer than expected. You questioned the path, questioned your strength, questioned the purpose behind what you were experiencing. But beloved, valleys are not places of abandonment, they are places where roots go deeper. Storms do not come to destroy you, they come to reveal what was already strong within you. And you, child of the Most High, are far stronger than you realize. God saw every moment you kept going when your spirit felt tired. He saw when you stayed calm on the outside but carried silent storms on the inside. He saw when you held your peace instead of fighting back, when you chose love instead of bitterness, when you chose faith instead of fear. These were not small choices. These were seeds planted into the soil of your divine destiny. And now heaven is saying, it is time to harvest what they sowed in faith. You are entering a season where hidden seeds begin to sprout. Breakthrough often looks like slow roots before it becomes visible fruit. And although you could not see anything changing around you, much was changing within you. Heaven was shaping your inner world so that your outer world could finally come into alignment. Let me reveal what was happening behind the scenes. Every disappointment strengthened your discernment. Every delay sharpened your patience. Every closed door refined your direction. Every setback expanded your resilience. Not a moment of your journey was wasted. Not a second was meaningless. You were not drifting, you were being shaped. Heaven was building a foundation within you that could hold the magnitude of the blessing prepared for your future. You are not being given something small. You are being given something that requires stability, purity, and clarity. This is why God removed certain people from your path, not because they were evil, but because they were not assigned to the next elevation of your story. And now, beloved, I must reveal something even more important. You are transitioning out of the season where you needed protection into the season where you will carry authority. For too long, you survived on strength you didn't know you had. For too long, you fought battles you never spoke about. For too long, you hid the weight of your heart because you didn't want to worry anyone. For too long, you carried more than you were built for, but somehow, you never collapsed. Do you know why? Because heaven held you upright every time your knees trembled. Because angels reinforced you when your heart felt weak. Because God placed His hand on your shoulders when you whispered, I can't take much more. You thought you were surviving by yourself. But you were being carried. You thought you were fighting alone. But I was fighting beside you. You thought you were forgotten. But heaven never took its eyes off you, not for a moment. You must know this, your quiet resilience shook the darkness. Your ability to keep going, even when drained, was a threat to every force that tried to break you. Your persistence in staying faithful even in dry seasons revealed the depth of your spirit. This is why interference rose against you. It was not because you were weak. It was because you were becoming unstoppable. And now I speak what heaven has declared, the season that once drained you will soon reward you. For every silent night you endured, for every tear you prayed through, for every time you lifted yourself out of discouragement, for every time you believed when evidence was nowhere in sight, heaven has recorded it all. And what is written in heaven must manifest on earth. Beloved, you must understand this part clearly. Your breakthrough is not coming from effort, it is coming from alignment. You no longer have to chase what is already written for you. You no longer need to strive for what heaven is delivering. You no longer need to worry about losing what was divinely assigned to you. What is yours has already begun moving toward you. What is meant for you has already recognized your spirit. What is promised to you is already breaking through resistance. But there is more. And this more is the reason heaven insisted you continue reading. You have recently sensed shifts within you, spiritual impressions, sudden insights, sudden restlessness, sudden clarity. These are not coincidences. These are signals from heaven, guiding you into a higher understanding. For you are entering a season of spiritual intelligence, where your inner knowing becomes sharper, where your decisions carry power, where your prayers carry fire, and where your presence will shift atmospheres. This is why heaven is drawing you closer. This is why your sensitivity has increased. This is why you feel things more deeply than before. This is why your intuition is awakening. This is why quiet moments feel louder spiritually. This is why your dreams have become clearer. You are awakening, beloved. Your spirit is remembering things your mind once forgot. But hear this with all the seriousness of heaven, you are stepping into a season that requires clarity. And heaven will not let confusion follow you into it. Your discernment will increase. Your peace will deepen. Your awareness will heighten. Your spirit will sharpen. And as this happens, certain people will no longer understand you. Certain environments will feel uncomfortable. Certain conversations will drain you. Certain distractions will fall away. Do not resist this. It is the shedding of an old season. It is the evidence that you are evolving. Beloved, you are not losing anything, you are being prepared for everything. There is a calling on your life that your heart has always felt but never fully understood. There is a purpose written into your soul that has been whispering inside you for years. There is a future waiting that requires the version of you God has been shaping in silence. And now I must speak what heaven has authorized for this moment. No unseen plan formed against you will succeed. No hidden negativity will take root in your life. No secret jealousy or spiritual interference will touch what God is bringing. No delay will steal what is yours. No confusion will cloud your next steps. For the one who created all things has already gone ahead of you. He has walked into your future and arranged what you need. He has aligned connections, opportunities, resources, and breakthroughs. He has removed counterfeits and prepared what is authentic. He has cleared interference and strengthened your spirit. Your next season is not about survival. It is about emergence. The strength you built in the dark will now carry you into the light. The wisdom you gained in silence will now guide you with precision. The resilience you developed in pain will now open doors that were once closed. You will step into situations that once intimidated you and feel peace. You will make decisions that once overwhelmed you and feel clarity. You will face challenges that once frightened you and feel authority. For heaven has not only protected you. Heaven has empowered you. And now, beloved, hear the conclusion of part. Your story is shifting. Your heart is healing. Your path is clearing. Your blessing is nearing. Your spirit is rising. This is not where your journey ends. This is where it truly begins. Beloved, now that the foundations of your rising have been spoken, I, Archangel Michael, must take you deeper into the mysteries that have been unfolding around your life, mysteries that heaven has guarded, protected, and nurtured in silence. There is a divine reason your spirit was drawn to this message today, and it is because you have reached a turning point in your journey. A point where heaven shifts its posture from shielding you to launching you. Listen carefully, for what I reveal now carries weight, carries truth, carries destiny. The season you came out of was one where heaven fought for you. The season you are entering is one where heaven fights through you. You are no longer merely a survivor of battles. You are becoming a carrier of authority, discernment, and spiritual confidence. For too long, you underestimated the power that lives within you. You saw yourself through the lens of your struggles, through the wounds of your past, through the fears that once shaped your decisions. But heaven has always seen you differently. Heaven has always seen the warrior, the healer, the leader, the creator, the light bearer within you. And now, that identity is rising. Beloved, I must reveal something that will shift how you see everything. You are not stepping into a blessing, you are stepping into your becoming. Blessings are outcomes. Becoming is identity. And when identity shifts, everything around you must shift with it. This is why your spirit has been feeling restless, not because something was wrong, but because your old self was dissolving. You can no longer fit into the spaces you've outgrown. You can no longer carry the version of you that was shaped by pain. You can no longer walk with the same patterns, the same habits, the same emotional cycles that once held you back. Heaven is not polishing your old identity. Heaven is birthing your new one. This is why certain dreams have returned. This is why certain desires have awakened. This is why your vision has sharpened. This is why your heart has been longing for more, because the more is not outside of you. The more is you. Beloved, I must reveal what happened in the spiritual realm when your last season began to shift. At the moment you decided, even quietly, even with trembling, that you were done with cycles that drained you, that you were ready for clarity, that you would not live beneath your calling anymore, heaven recorded that decision as a spiritual decree. In that moment, the chains that tried to hold you began to loosen. The cycles that repeated began to break. The patterns that limited you began to dissolve. The heaviness that followed you began to weaken. Nothing in the spiritual realm moves faster than a heart that says, enough. And you reached that moment. You may not have shouted it. You may not have told anyone. You may not have even fully understood it. But your spirit whispered it. And heaven heard it. Now, beloved, I must reveal something very sacred. Your next season requires spiritual clarity, because you are stepping into your promise, not your possibility. Possibility is fragile. Promise is guaranteed. Possibility depends on people, timing, and circumstances. Promise depends only on God. This is why heaven is aligning your inner world before your outer world shifts. The blessing coming toward you is stable. Your spirit must be stable as well. Let me speak plainly, you are being prepared to carry what once overwhelmed you. Where you once felt unready, you will now feel capable. Where you once felt unsure, you will now feel guided. Where you once felt lost, you will now feel aligned. This is not wishful thinking. This is spiritual realignment. Beloved, I must address something that has weighed heavily on your heart. You have wondered why certain relationships faded, why certain connections shifted, why certain people who once mattered no longer walk closely with you. You questioned if you did something wrong. You questioned if you lost value. You questioned if you were somehow unworthy. But hear me clearly, when heaven increases your elevation, not everyone can breathe at that altitude. Some were meant for your past, not your future. Some were meant for your growth, not your glory. Some were meant for your story, not your destiny. Their exit was not your failure. It was your protection. Heaven never removes without replacing. Heaven never closes without opening. Heaven never subtracts without multiplying. Trust the divine math even when you do not understand the equation. Now listen, beloved, for this part carries urgency. you have entered a season where heaven will accelerate what was once delayed. The time that was lost will be restored. The opportunities that slipped away will return in upgraded form. The blessings that were held back will flow without resistance. The insights you once struggled for will now come with ease. For when God says, now, nothing can say, later. When God says, release, nothing can say, restrain. When God says, open, nothing can say, closed. When God says, move, nothing can hold you still. Beloved, your now season has arrived. And yet, there is more. Much more. You have been feeling unusual spiritual sensitivity lately. Your dreams carry messages. Your instincts feel sharper. Your emotions feel deeper. Your mind is noticing patterns you once ignored. All of this is intentional. Heaven is increasing your spiritual perception so you can recognize what is being prepared for you. Let me explain why this matters. A blessing you cannot perceive is a blessing you cannot receive. If your discernment is not aligned, you may walk past what was meant for you. If your intuition is not sharp, you may accept what heaven never sent. If your spirit is not awake, you may miss the signs guiding you forward. This is why heaven has been awakening your inner senses. This is why your awareness has expanded. This is why your inner world feels louder. You are not imagining this. You are evolving. Beloved, I now reveal what heaven has shielded until this moment. Your next breakthrough will not arrive in a dramatic burst. It will arrive through a sequence of divine alignments. A conversation here. A connection there. A sudden idea. A small opportunity. A shift in perspective. A new path appearing quietly. Breakthrough is not always loud. But it is always precise. God has already begun rearranging your path so that everything unfolds in divine order. You do not need to force anything. You do not need to beg for anything. You do not need to worry about losing anything. What is aligned with your destiny will rise effortlessly. And now, beloved, I speak the most beautiful truth of part 3, you are entering the season where heaven makes sense of what once hurt you. The confusion will turn into clarity. The pain will turn into wisdom. The waiting will turn into gratitude. The disappointment will turn into redirection. The loneliness will turn into divine companionship. The tears will turn into testimony. Nothing was wasted. Nothing was random. Nothing was meaningless. Heaven is weaving every thread, every moment, every breath into a tapestry that will one day make you say, it was all worth it. Beloved, your story is not just changing. Your identity is changing. You are rising into the version of yourself heaven always knew. And now your destiny is ready for you.